What's going on?
Here we are doing another memorial tribute for a dead brother, huh?
Yeah, well, the ironic part is this one,
It's not a shock.
no, you know, the guy was given months to live years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you almost have to, you don't want to say he was lucky for the time that he got, but at the same time, I mean,
he was just turned 73, and
yeah, 4 days before he died.
I'm 59, and from where I'm sitting, that ain't that far off, man.
Well, if people would understand, like, when old people die, and I don't mean old people as in you, but
I get what
when
you're
old
saying.
people die who are, you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Well, I'm old too, man. I'm not young.
No, you're not.
I'm in my 40s, man. There was somebody on Instagram that hit me up and was like, "Oh shit, man, I only listen to you guys on Spotify, and I thought you were way younger." I'm like, "Oh yeah?" He goes, "Yeah, I thought you were in your 20s." I'm like, "Oh, well, how old do I look?" "Oh, it's like in early 50s." I'm like, "God damn, dude, I need to quit drinking." Jesus, fuck.
Wow, I get it the other way, brother. When they find out how old I am, they go, "Wow, now there's no way you're that old, Tank." So
it's a gray beard, is what it is.
Yeah, well,
your
hair's not gray yet all the way.
It is on the sides, but
well,
I mean, I don't know, man. It just, man, genetics. I don't want to tell you. Just is what it is.
Who cares? Who cares, really? And long and short of that.
Well, I don't. I mean, that's why I've never dyed any of my shit. Cause it's like, fuck it, I've earned this gray hair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Pops never did either.
No, and that's sort of the thing. I mean, Pops literally, he lived multiple different lives.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah.
Hey, Pops lived every ounce of life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he never, ever fucking stopped. I mean, and I know I say I mean a lot, but it's hard to put into words to describe the man. It's like he went from one extreme to another at the drop of a hat. And what I mean by that is he would be the reckless, cutthroat rebel without a cause to be in this caring, help person out family man, and then everywhere in between.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, he was everything that he said he was.
And then some.
Yeah. So when we met Pops, Pops is what we called him in the BIC, in the Brothers and Chains Motorcycle Club, Janesville, Wisconsin. And he was a local biker dude that just hung out at the same bars we did. And everybody knew him because he's been around for fucking ever.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew him well before I knew anybody in the club.
Yeah. I mean, me too.
Yeah.
And he always had a joke.
Always.
He had the joke of the day.
Yep.
Always. He was always on his bike. Man didn't own a car.
Yeah, I got a picture of his bike covered in snow sitting behind Hammy's.
Yeah. Man didn't own a car. Man he was a snowbird of sorts. When it got cold outside in his retirement age, he just jammed down to South Carolina because he knew people in South Carolina. So
yeah,
beginning of every October, he'd go down to South Carolina. And then in April, he'd come back.
He'd come back up. Yep.
And he always had that smile, man. I mean, we're doing this podcast. It's been 2 whole days since he's died, and it's still fresh, but like I said, everybody kind of expected it. So episode 15, we did a podcast with him.
Yeah.
And, you know, typical Pops fashion, you know, he bitched about the government. He bitched about, you know, the younger generation being a bunch of pussies and blah, blah, blah. And what people don't understand is that a few months before that, he had a bad spill visiting you in Florida. And he cracked his skull open.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, you know, brains fucking poking through his fucking shit. I mean,
I saw him. I saw him within about 5 hours of having that wreck. I remember making that drive up to Gainesville and seeing his busted ass laying there in the hospital bed. Had a complete conversation with him for an hour. He doesn't even remember it. He was so high on drugs.
right. And I mean, not only that, but that's when they found out that he had a brain tumor. Like right around that same time he did the podcast.
Yep. That was actually, I think, within probably a week.
Yeah.
That he, yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that podcast was unique too, because it was one of the first times we tried shooting with 2 cameras.
Yeah, and it didn't work out.
And it didn't work out. And so it was just him the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. He was also there when we did Hollywood's. I think we did Hollywood was like number 13 or something. And Pops was in the background. Actually,
Pops
he was
14. Pops was 15. Hollywood was 14.
Was 14.
Yep, recorded on the exact same day.
And now, if I recall, Pops was probably in the background of probably a couple dozen of these things that we did.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at certain episodes that we did in 2020 where we were at the clubhouse, you could hear him in the background.
Or he'd be in and out, or he'd walk through the camera and say goodbye to us or say hello when he got there.
Yeah, I mean, he was always around.
He was ubiquitous, man, with the club. I mean, in the motorcycle scene in Janesville, Rock County.
Right. Like, he made every fucking ride. And so here's how and I'm trying to like not get on my soapbox about the younger generation, but I have to. Pops cracked his skull open. And literally, you had to fight him not to ride a motorcycle again before the doctors, right? Because his bike was totaled, right? His fucking motorcycle was fucking totaled. And he was already trying to figure out how to get it fixed before he got out of the fucking hospital.
Yeah. Betty Boop.
and then once the bike was fucking totaled, which, by the way, that was like, how many numbers of wrecks is that with that particular fucking ultra classic fucking in? I mean, it had over
5, I think.
Close to 300,000 fucking miles on it.
Yeah, one engine rebuild.
03.
Yeah.
I mean, so he gets this trike because he realizes that at his age, because not only did he have brain cancer, but his back was fused. So he would have to eat magical fudge just to keep riding for long distances because his back was fused, cemented, the whole shebang. A couple years before that, he had chunks of his lung taken out because they had polyps on it. I don't know how many stents. Twice.
Yeah.
I don't know how many stents he had, but he had quite a few stents. And yeah, I mean,
you remember the one time he had the one brain surgery, and then he was up in the I mean, it's almost at hotel, up in the hospital, and so he wanted to see the club. Remember that? So we rode over there.
Pause.
Anyway, I mean, so this is the second time he had his melon open in 10 months time. Yeah, and I remember that we had the whole club there, so we decided to go up there on that Sunday afternoon. It was like 95 degrees. Remember that? Hotter than hell. We're standing out on the friggin' tarmac. We look up there, and all of a sudden we see this naked, bony white ass looking back down at us from the window. The dirty fucker mooned us. But I mean, he had so much fight in him, man. I mean, he had that first surgery. He was up at UW, and 48 hours, man. We're talking 48 hours. This guy had his melon open. They took that tumor out. He's calling me up on the phone. He's feisty as hell. Tank, It's Pops, yeah. Get me out of here, God damn it. Get me out of here, motherfucker. I'm not going to stay in this house anymore. They won't let me have a cigarette. I can't do this. The nurses they got a security guard on my room. Like, brother, hold on, man. Hold on. You know, what's going on? What's going on? God damn it, I don't want to be up here. You come and pick me up. God damn, pick me up. You'll know me because I'll be the one walking down goddamn Park Street in Madison with my ass hanging out because I've got the Johnny on. Like, brother, hold on, man. 2 days after having his melon open.
So, yeah. And that was, yeah.
Just one of many stories about Brother Pops.
Well, one of the things that, I want to talk about is, and if you can hear that, that's a snowplow outside because it snowed. But anyways, so after his first brain surgery in 2020, he had that, August?
Yeah, August.
Normally he goes down to South Carolina in October. And they kind of told him, hey, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. And of course, he's fighting. He's being stubborn. He decides to go anyways. So he gets down there.
Buys a plane ticket.
No.
Right. Down there. That's right. He rode his bike down there. That's right.
He rode his bike down there. He said, fuck the doctors. Fuck everybody. I'm taking off. I hate snow. I hate winter. I hate life. Fuck you. He went down there.
That's right. Then he had to bail. And,
what happened is
he was brought back up north.
He when Erica and his daughter, went down to see him, they realized he had to come back up because he needed. I mean, he's in South Carolina and he doesn't have any of his doctors down there. He doesn't have any sort of healthcare down there. So they brought him back. Brought him back on an airplane. Okay. Fast forward, we get into May. He's like, hey, I need my motorcycle. It's down there in South Carolina, so I'm going to go get it. No. You can't ride. You can't do it. We'll figure out a way to get a truck and trailer. He's like, yeah, well, you fuckers are taking. Motherfucker buys a plane ticket on his own.
Yeah.
Finds a ride to O'Hare in Chicago. Then proceeds to fly down to South Carolina, get his bike, and ride it back to Wisconsin.
Yep.
All with everybody saying that he's not even supposed to, drive a car.
Yeah.
Let alone ride a motorcycle across the country.
Yeah.
Because that's who the fuck Pops was. Pops never missed an event unless he was in the hospital.
Yeah, you're right.
I remember when he had his lung issue and he had his heart issue and whatever brain issue, he was here. He would show up one way or the other. He never missed a fucking thing.
Nope.
He would get pissed if people didn't tell him about shit. Even if it was just a Sunday ride to some neighboring city to go to some neighboring bar, he'd get pissed if you didn't let him know. So, I mean, when I bitch about the new generation, because guys like Pops they're a dying breed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing it, the dedication to being rock solid is just few and far between. I'm not saying everybody who's under the age of whatever is a piece of shit. I'm not saying that. But guys like Pops are definitely not common anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's guys in this fucking club that if they have a fucking hangnail, they'll fucking be like, oh man, I can't make it. I'm sorry. I got, this hangnail and it's really killing me. And I just can't, dude, you're a bitch. Fucking Pops would put an oxygen tank in his fucking bike and fucking ride 600 fucking miles in one direction. He didn't give a shit. And that's what, to be honest with you, that's who I take a lot of my inspiration from when it comes to doing shit. When it comes to club stuff, when it comes to motorcycle riding, it's Pops, because rain or shine, cold or hot, didn't matter. He was going. Didn't matter. We're going.
Yeah.
I remember he used to have an ice vest that he would wear in the summertime because you know, with all his ailments, like the heat really kicked his ass.
It really did, yeah.
So he would have an ice vest that he would wear just so he could be with the dudes,
Yeah,
you know, be with the
maintain his
fellas.
body core temperature, yeah.
You know, I mean, there's guys who won't show up for a fucking ride because they're hungover.
Yeah.
You know, I posted pictures on, you know, Facebook, Instagram, and shit, and
Yeah.
you could throw them in here, but there's a picture of us underneath a fucking overpass. And the reason why we had to stop is because Pops needed to stop. We were riding in horizontal rain. We're somewhere in Kentucky in a construction zone. It was well, I could tell you the exact date, but I won't because it was my fucking birthday. But it's early October. So it's like 40 something degrees outside, 48, 49, maybe 50, you know. So we're all cold and tired. He had to stop.
Especially the probate who only had a hoodie.
Yeah, well, you know, his asshole sponsor told him that we were just taking a little jaunt. Anyways, so we're in somewhere, I don't know, by Indianapolis, and he had to stop. So he pulls over underneath the overpass. And the only reason he had to stop is so he could get a little piece of that magical fudge because his back was starting to really fucking bother him.
Yep.
Because, you know, that summer he just had like most of it fused together. We're all 30 years younger than him, 20 years, 50 years, or well, not 50, 40 years younger than him.
Yeah.
And we're just lucky he stopped because we were cold and tired because we had just ridden, you know, however many fucking miles in some of the worst conditions that you could possibly ride in. And all he wanted to do is get a chunk of fudge and take a break for a minute. And then it was right back on the scooters, jamming south. You know, he was our road captain.
Yeah.
He would fix bikes on the side of the, I mean, he had everything you would need. And he would talk to us about cans of tuna in the saddlebags. That you want to keep that just in case something happens and, you know, you don't get food. And he always had all these little bits of knowledge they would share with you.
There wasn't a road in southern Wisconsin that guy didn't know.
There wasn't a road in most of this country that he didn't know. Fuck, he did time in Colorado for stealing cars.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he sure did.
There was a club, the club that he was in before this one. Well, let me rephrase. The club that he was in back in the day. And he talks about it a little bit in the last podcast. And we're not going to name that club because they're still around and
not in our area.
Not well.
Not well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just say this. I'm going to say a little bit, not a whole lot. And once I say what I say, you'll understand why. There is an episode of Gangland. Yeah, the history show Gangland. An episode of Gangland about his former club.
When he was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shit got real. And he pretty much told those guys, you know what? You guys are fucking up. Fuck you.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up is because Pops went a really long time without being in an MC. He just wanted to be an independent, do his own thing. But he saw what we were doing. We used to help him out whenever we could. He's got family ties into the club. And yeah, he just wanted to be a part of it. And as soon as he became a part of it, he made it most of his life. He was a diehard, dedicated member. I wish I had 20 more fucking Pops in this club.
Yeah, he was a retiree when he started the whole prospect thing.
He was in his late 60s when he started coming around and riding with us.
Yeah.
He had already fucking lived the fucking MC life. He had already done his fucking due diligence and been the hardcore guy and proven his mettle. I mean, we used to say fucking Pops had more miles backing into curves than most dudes have on their fucking life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we really didn't mess with him. He was kind of taboo. We weren't gonna. He was a prospect, but we really didn't fuck with him, and that kind of pissed him off a little. He wanted to be messed with because he wanted to be thought of as just, who he was, and, just a regular guy that could handle it. But then by the same token, he kind of didn't want to go through some of the shit because of his age. And I remember the day that we patched him in, we put him through his paces, if you remember. And he thought we were just fucking with him. We had him doing all sorts of different stuff. He thought we were just fucking with him. And then I'll never forget, man, when he came out after finding his club cut, and Chop was the first one to greet him as he walked out the door with a grin on his face and tears in his eyes. I got a picture of that I can put up.
Yeah, do all of that.
I've got a actual picture of that moment. And
I used to fuck with him all the time, but I didn't fuck with him as far as like, making him do anything fucking stupid or some, cleaning up anything. But
that's what I mean. Yeah.
He would say, hey, you guys can make me do stuff. And I'm like, dude, this is like a whole Make-A-Wish type deal, right? We're just, make a wish for Pops. He wants to be in an MC, fuck. And I used to fuck with him all the time when he would bitch about the TV, where he couldn't find something on the TV, at the clubhouse, because there was too many buttons on the remote.
Too many damn buttons. That's right. And I can't see the goddamn thing. Tank.
I can see the goddamn buttons.
Just change the goddamn thing for me.
Yep. Yeah, he was just one of those guys, man.
Yeah, he came down to visit me in Florida there that week, before he had that last accident. For the last time, actually, when he rode two wheels.
Yeah.
When he was on Betty Boop. And we went to the Myakka State Park, where you can go and see live alligators in the wild. They're all over the place. They just kind of roam freely. And I kept trying to talk him in. There's this big 13-footer, huge monster. And I kept trying to talk him into walking down and patting it on so I can get a picture and put it up on the on the social media. I swear that motherfucker thought about it for a second.
Yeah. I mean, there was no quit in that man.
No.
There was no quit.
Even when the quit was staring him in the face.
So the last time he rode his bike, he rode it down to our Thanksgiving Day on a party, whatever you want to call it. It was just us, it wasn't open to the public. It was just, our Thanksgiving for the BIC type shit. And it was shit, I don't know, upper 30s, this is a week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
He rode down on his bike and he couldn't ride it back. So I had to ride his bike back for him because I said, hey, I got you. Got a ride from another guy. Because, by the way, he was the only one that rode down here. All these other young, spry guys. And to be fair, I was out riding all day. And I actually went home and I ditched my bike for the truck because I knew, it's going to get down into the 20s by the time I leave the clubhouse. So fuck it. I'm just going to go get my truck. And, but I rode his bike back to his house. So, yeah, it's just, you knew the end was near because he couldn't ride his bike back home.
Yeah.
Last time he was down at the clubhouse for our Christmas party, he sat on, there's a love seat directly in front of me. And that was his, or couch rather. And,
yeah, I was gonna say
that was his couch,
Yeah, yeah.
You'd always see him in there laying on the couch and he just lets you know, oh, I'm taking a break, because he'd been out all day, bebopping around, fucking around. He woke up in the morning, he would down a 5-hour energy, and then he'd jump on his scooter and go see what the local people were doing.
He had a routine, man. He visited people all over Rock County every day.
All over.
Every day.
Not even just this county. I mean, I
meant towards the end.
Well, not even towards the end. I was just talking to somebody from another club this past Saturday, and they were, once they heard the news, they were broken up about it. He's like, man, how how many times me and that old man sat at Farmers, which is the county over, and just shot the shit for hours. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's who Pops was, man. He just bebopped around and he'd swing into a bar and just start shooting the shit with anybody who would talk to him or whatever, and when he towards the end there, man, he couldn't ride, he couldn't do shit. He's still feistier than hell, man. He didn't want to be helped up off the couch. He didn't want to be pampered. He was, ornery and smoking cigarettes and didn't give a shit, just get out of my way. I remember the birthday before, not this past one, but last year's birthday, we had a party for him at his daughter's house. And I got him a card and it said, "Fuck everybody," right on the front of it. And it said, "Except for you, happy birthday." He laughed about that for probably a good hour. He kept saying how great it was and yada, yada, yada. Because that was always his fucking attitude. He never fucking slowed down. He never chilled out. He was the same fucking guy he always was.
When we went up to see Chop the one last time up in Madison. So it was he and I and another club brother were back at the hotel. You guys were walking back. We had taken the shuttle.
Yeah.
And he was getting impatient, if you remember, because he did not like to ride with clears or yellows. He rode with sunglasses.
Well, because the guy also had fucking bad cataracts and couldn't see for fucking shit.
That's right.
And let's be honest, Pops, he didn't have exactly a 401k or a savings built up because, well, he lived life to the fullest forever.
No.
And long story short, when it came time to get prescription glasses because he couldn't fucking see for shit, he opted for sunglasses only.
That's right.
Because that's all he could afford. And he figured, well, I'm always on the scooter. I need sunglasses more than I need regular glasses. So the only prescription glasses he had, and that motherfucker, they used to call him Blind Man before we called him Pops.
Yeah.
And he always wore his fucking sunglasses. That's why most of the...
No, go ahead, man.
That's why most of the pictures you see him in, he's always wearing his sunglasses.
Yeah, and it's not like, he wouldn't, obviously, it got dark, he'd be at home, but it's not like when the sundown had stopped him. Because he used to just say, just keep it going, motherfucker, I'll follow your taillights. But getting back to that whole thing with Chop, here he is. This was just, this past summer. And he was getting ornery. His sun was starting to go down and he's, going to go. And of course, I'm trying to stall him, so we can go back with the group because I knew you guys were right around the corner. And he got so impatient with me, man. I'm still trying to get my gloves on, trying to stall a little and shit. And all of a sudden he just goes, "Well, you can't get your fucking ass in gear. I'm out of here." And boom, he's gone right out there, right by UW Hospital. And now he's flying up, rush hour, after rush hour at downtown Madison. So I go tearing up behind him with the scoot. And of course, he's lost right away. His memory's starting to go. It's, sun's starting to go down. I watch him blow 2 red lights in front of 2 different cops right there in Madison. Of course, I blow the red lights to go and catch up with them. And the one cop just looked at me and I just go, I don't know. And he kind of shrugs. And I get him. And I'm like, all right. I get up in front of him, like, come on, follow me. And then we go back, 8 blocks or whatever, back up to Park Street. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing, motherfucker? I knew where I was going." I said, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Follow me. This is the way home. We're going this way." I swear that he'd still be up there trying to get the hell out of Madison.
Yeah, he was super stubborn, man.
He was so super stubborn, man.
He didn't bow down to anybody. He didn't, he didn't really follow anybody. He wasn't the president
except
of the club,
your
but nobody told him what to do. Well, yeah, he'd follow you when he couldn't fucking see, because you could just see the red fucking dot in front of him and just fucking stay behind that.
Yeah.
If it got brighter, he just hit his brakes. But nobody told Pops what to do.
No.
I used to fucking always joke around with people, when they would kind of give him shit for being, a million years old. I'd say, back in the day, if 20 years ago, Pops wouldn't even talk to us because we wouldn't be fucking cool enough to talk to fucking Pops. Because that motherfucker was kicking ass and taking names since the fucking 60s.
Yeah.
I remember that one time he brought some old pictures down to the clubhouse. We had a thing or whatever, and he was showing these old pictures and he's all fucking
Buff.
big and burly and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and go, dude, what the fuck happened, man? What just happened? He
Old
starts
age.
laughing. He goes, I don't know. Got old. I'm like, yeah, man. Happens to all of us. But
Well, his get back whip is down here in Florida.
okay.
For some reason, Animal ended up with it.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm gonna collect that from him, and I'll put it on my bike, and we'll ride it up into Daytona, so we get a little piece of history there with him.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll pass it off to you, and you can bring it up north to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Unless you want to put it on your bike, brother, President. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But one of us should have it on our bikes.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
Yeah. One last bit. Maybe we can go whack a few strippers on the ass with it or something for him. He would have liked that.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well.
But I don't know, man. It's still fresh. It's still,
Yeah.
one of those things.
One of those things, man.
We wanted to do this for him because I know a lot of people in the beginning knew who Pops was. They liked his, they liked his stories that he was telling on his, on his episode. And shit.
I would say when we interview was an episode, we just let him talk.
Yeah, he hated the government. He used to burn down fucking gas stations in Chicago. He fucking did it all.
He used to steal motorcycles and then part them out.
Yeah. Used to steal bikes. Used to fucking steal cars.
Yeah,
yep. It is what it is, man. He's gone, but he will never be forgotten.
Never be forgotten. No.
So so not to talk about, I'm going to end this.
You
in
are.
a shitty way.
Are
well,
we?
you know what I mean. I'm gonna. The last thing I've got to say is a shitty thing.
Okay.
We all see these fucking guys on social media talking about how I would never ride with a club because nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me when to ride my motorcycle. They're so badass and independent. They could never be a part of anything at all because they're such free spirits. Guys like that have no fucking idea. And I hear it from fucking chicks too, because they don't understand any of this shit. And it's like, all right, whatever. You don't have to understand it because I don't give a fuck if you do or not. But Pops' vest will be on this fucking, on a wall. I'm not going to say we're always going to have this clubhouse, but his vest will always be hung up on a wall. And sure, you can say, well, what difference does it make? Well, because that vest was worn by that man. He cherished that vest more than he did other things in life. And that vest was with him through good times and bad. It looks like hammered dog shit because, well, he put it through its paces.
Yeah.
It was in the rain. It was in the snow. It was in the fucking extreme heat. It did how many fucking thousands and thousands of fucking miles. And it will always be remembered.
I collected it out of a hospital room when he was in the ICU.
There's his own blood on that vest.
Yep.
His patches have marks on them from dragging on the fucking interstate with his own blood embedded into the fucking fibers of those patches.
Yep.
And it will always be hung up and it will always be remembered. And, be that lone wolf rider trying to act the part of Billy Badass at the local fucking bar, talk about how you'll never be a part of a fucking motorcycle club because you're not a follower. Right. Well, nobody fucking fouled Pops didn't foul anybody unless he couldn't fucking see at night. Nobody told Pops what to fucking do. And yeah, you could buy a little fucking memorial patch when we get them, and you can put them on your vest. And you can talk about how you knew the guy, but his vest will always be in this clubhouse. Every member of this motorcycle club will know who the fuck he is, past, present, and future.
That's right.
So he'll never be forgotten.
A special chapter for him.
Yeah.
He will never be forgotten. Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I agree.
And that's why we do this shit. It's not for fucking glory. It's not for fucking trying to look like a badass at the fucking, you know, local fucking hangout or some rally or some shit. You do it because this shit should be eternal. I used to tell fucking people, you know, if you quit, I'm not going to like you that much. You know, I mean, I understand everybody, you know, at some point, maybe they got to quit or maybe they got to do their own thing. And I get it. But the F should stand forever. You know, the F always stands for forever. And when it comes to Pops and when it comes to Shane and Chop, it's forever. You know, when they left this earth or they went to the next, whatever the fuck happens when you die, maybe nothing, maybe everything, who knows? They left being a full patch member, fucking flying colors and being proud. And they will never be forgotten for that.
Let's end it on that.
Yeah.
Not even going to say our catchphrase. I'm going to say rest in peace, brother.
Yep.
Rest in peace.